Brought to you by Black Mafia Podcast.
Bob, it's been amazing to get hold of you and do this podcast. It's something I've been looking forward to for a long time. So how you keeping, fella?
Better than I have been.
Yeah. Well, I've heard you've been in the wars a bit, haven't you?
Just a wee bit.
Right. I'm going to ask if we could start when you was a child, basically. So where did you grow up and where did you go to school?
I'm a forces brat.
Yeah.
My father was in the Air Force, so early life was Ely, RDF St Morgan, Kinloss, and Leckensfield. And then after that, we got posted to Akrotiri for 4 years.
Wow. So you travelled even as a child?
Yeah, and we came back for there just as the invasion was about to start, so we got evacuated and got
Sorry, where's this, Bob?
in Cyprus.
Oh yeah.
When the Turks invaded.
Yeah.
We initially got evacuated to Malta, and then flew back to Bryce, and then it was on a train back up to Kinloss again.
Wow. So
And
that must have been exciting, moving all the time.
That was, but it was just tedious. I mean, you never got settled anywhere.
And how was school, Bob? Like, I mean, you must have gone from one school to the other.
Yeah, it was hectic because I mean, you were never at the right stage. I mean, you leave one school, go to another end, and do a different stage in the curriculum. So, when I turned 10, I got packed off to boarding school in Yorkshire.
And how was boarding school, Bob?
Hell.
Yeah.
The bullying was unbelievable. I mean, back then, I just used to, I wouldn't say boo to a mouse back then. And then ran away from there for a few times. I think that's what got me into escape evasion, because they never found me.
Wow. But to actually run away from the school, I mean, it must have been quite rough. I mean, you think of a boarding school and you think it's a good education and things, but you don't look at that side of life, really, do you, when you think it's a boarding school?
No. So I left there in end of '78, and then I went to another boarding school down near the Guards Depot, Gordon Boys School, which is the national memorial to General Gordon Cartoon.
Oh yeah. Wow.
And that was military based. You had rank structure, you had bed, Christ, you had locker layout, bed blocks, the lot.
Wow.
Parades, dress uniform, always, and it suited me down to the ground. I fitted straight in.
Yeah. Can I ask, how was your mum and dad? I mean, did they stay together?
Yeah. They stayed married, but my mother decided to settle, try and put roots down in Newcastle with her family, because she was sick and tired of moving about. Because she was in the WAFs when she met my father.
Yeah.
He stayed in. He ended up doing 40 40-something years.
Jeez.
I didn't really see a lot of him until
No.
I think the first time I remember having a conversation with him, a proper conversation. I think I was about 15 years old.
Wow.
Whereas
But
my mother,
like the times you got on with Dad, did he excuse me for butting in, did he get on well with you and there was no like bad
yeah,
feeling or nothing?
no,
Yeah.
no, me and him, we got on really well. Even more so when I started refusing to do what my mother wanted me to do.
So what did
Because
she want you to do, Bob?
well, she was a tyrant. I mean, she used to. Me and my sister used to. There was me, my sister, who's 10 years older than me. I had a brother who's 9 years older, and another brother who's 12 years older. Now, the oldest, he went away and joined the Air Force. Me and my sister used to copy all the discipline.
Yeah.
She'd regularly, she'd beat the shit out of us with wooden spoons.
Yeah.
To the point when I was about 7 years old, when she'd bought some new wooden spoons, I sneaked into the kitchen and I started breaking them.
Wow.
You know,
Yeah, we all
when
do
she hit us with them,
things.
they just disintegrated. So
Yeah.
no, she was a snob. I mean, she wanted somebody to take the commission in the Navy, and the last person that was around was me. So, and I said no,
So
bollocks.
going to boarding school was one release, I suppose, from mum, but then obviously you've got what you say, the bullying to contend with at the boarding schools, yeah?
The second boarding school was absolutely fine. There was no bullying there that I noticed at all.
Yeah.
Whether it's because I was a senior, I don't know, but I certainly never saw anything along the lines of bullying. I used to clamp down on it.
Yeah. Just
But
touch on your dad, Bob. I mean,
yeah,
I've got to give him respect for 40 years in the service. That is just fantastic, you know?
it was. He was the first person I ever met who had a bar on his LSGC.
Wow. That's just amazing. For the people that are watching this and they don't understand that, could you just explain a little bit more?
Well, you do 15 years long service, good conduct, then you get a medal for it. Basically,
Yeah.
you stay out of trouble, which I found
Yeah.
hard to believe with my dad. I did actually,
Excuse me.
I did actually ask him, how did you manage it? He says, I just didn't get caught. Simple as.
Yeah. Like father, like son, maybe.
Well, no,
So,
there was no way. There was no way I was getting an LSGC.
so the military was in your family, like a lot of us, you know. I mean, so obviously you're probably thinking about that, but why the army and why the Royal Green Jackets?
Why the army? Because my mother hated it. She absolutely
Right.
detested
Okay.
anything. But that's what I wanted to do. When I went to this second boarding school, because it was sort of like military based now, I got to see a lot more of military life, and I actually got to spend some time with the Third Battalion Green Jackets when I was a cadet doing the course with them.
Wow.
Also, my brother, who was an
So
engineer,
what year was that, Bob?
that was
Can you remember?
1980.
Wow.
But my
Wow.
brother served he was a combat engineer, and he used to clear the barricades in Belfast.
Yeah.
And he told me this time where he was half pissed, and just had sort of like denims on and a t-shirt and bunged his flak jacket on and took his tractor out to have a look at this clear this barricade. And he got out to have a look at it. This little short arse green jacket pinned him up against the wall and shoved the muzzle of his SLR up under his throat. But he always said that was the best cover he ever had was from the green jackets. And funnily enough, a few years later, I was recounting this story to a little green jacket who'd been in for a while. And it actually turned out he was the guy who had my brother up against the wall.
Wow, small world, small world.
Amazing. And that's how I went for the green jackets, because I thought they were the best and best suited to them.
Yeah.
They were different.
So, there's a lot of reasons. Yeah. I will say that. So what's the so how old was you? Did you go in as a boy or as an adult?
I was 17 and a bit when I went in, but they took me in as an adult.
And what year would that be roughly, if you don't mind me asking?
81.
81. And was it down at Winchester?
Yeah, down at Peninsula Barracks.
Yeah, the home, hey? The home of the Royal Green Jackets. And now the Rifles. Yeah. So how was I suppose it helped you with the boarding school and the second one having the military side of life a bit. Was it was it hard or easy training, or I mean, it's 6 months as an adult, isn't it?
Yeah. I'd be lying if I said it was piss easy, but I think I had that advantage, the fact that I'd be brought up military, and my time at boarding school helped me.
Yeah.
And just.
And then, did you have a choice to go to what battalion, or was you sent to the battalion that you ended up in?
Well, they say you get a choice, but whether you get the one that you choose, I mean, I happened to get the one that I chose, so I was lucky in that respect. I mean, I know there were some guys who didn't want to go to the second and ended up going to the second. But,
I mean, this is your podcast, but just touching on a choice. When I was in training and I wanted to follow my brother and go to the 3rd Battalion, everyone at depot at the time, at the factory, was saying, "Oh, you're going to the Cowboys, you're going to the Cowboys." And I didn't understand what that meant until I got there. And then I realised, no one was ever dressed the same, were they?
No.
So
laid back.
Yeah.
Except when we need not to be.
Yeah. So how did you find the battalion?
I loved it, and I mean, the company. I mean, I was in our company, and I absolutely loved it. I mean, there's some aspects that come along, and
So for people that don't know, a company's, it should be 120 men, shouldn't it?
Yeah,
but it depends on where you are and what you're doing at the time and that. But touch wood, it's 120 men. And our company was a rifle company, which is
it's the equivalent of C company in other infantry regiments. I mean, obviously, some personalities clashed when they came in, and you had to adapt your ways to their, how they wanted things doing.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I mean, it's all life, that, isn't it? Really,
Yeah.
it's just looking at how people are and just going with it. So, where was your first posting, Bob?
Oakington.
Oakington, Cambridge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I got sent back from Oakington back to the depot because I shouldn't have been there.
Right. Okay.
And then I got sent back to the third. Then I got sent back to the battalion once they joined it. Once they'd moved to Cellar.
Yeah. Cellar in, and where's Cellar? Like, for the people that are not watching.
Yeah, no, it's West Germany, up in the north near Hanover.
Yeah. And that was the home, like the barracks at Cellar.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Trenchard Barracks.
Yeah.
No, it's beautiful, beautiful camp, fantastic posting.
So, how long did you spend in Germany, Bob?
Well, I went there 81, left in 87.
Yeah. And was there any other tours or
Yeah, we
places
did
you
a couple.
went to while you were there?
Went to Northern Ireland a couple of times whilst I was.
And there's
Also,
also, did you go to Canada and places like that?
yeah, out to Canada for
Yeah.
training. Yeah.
Yeah. So, how was going out to Northern Ireland?
First time. I had no idea what to expect.
Yeah. And whereabouts did you go to in Northern Ireland?
I was at Fort White Rock in West Belfast.
Oh, right. Yeah. Yeah.
Totally Turf Lodge. It was
So, how long was that for, Bob?
6 months.
6 months.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, what did you get up to when you was out there then?
Well, usual things. You know, you did lots of guard duties, mobile patrols with the IUC, foot patrols. Yes, it was stressful because I mean you didn't know what was going to happen from day to day.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Yeah, I can imagine. Well, I
Things
do
just
imagine.
they just I mean things just escalate exponentially, without any warning, and you either reacted to it or not. I mean, so
For the people watching, if you don't mind me saying, Bob, that on that tour you was mentioned in dispatches for an incident that happened, and
yeah.
Can you explain what mentioning dispatches is from your side to the viewers, and also what you're awarded and what it was for, if you don't mind me asking that?
Mentioned dispatches is, well, the bit of paper says it's mentioned dispatches to Her Majesty the Queen, distinguished service, and you get a little certificate. It's with a charge to record Her Majesty's appreciation, signed Secretary of State for Defence, and you get an oak leaf to wear when you Northern Ireland medal room.
Yeah. And are you and does it go in some type of paper or something?
Yeah, it gets published initially in the London Gazette, and it's published like as New Year's, Christmas and New Year honours.
Yeah. And
But
could I ask you how you come about receiving this award?
wrong place, wrong time. I don't know. We've been on. We had 2 weeks of the tour left. The CEO wanted to go out on a foot patrol, and basically we ended up on. We had this foot patrol, and it was strung out right the way along Ansonstown Road. There was no
And this is in the
satellites
West
or anything.
Belfast, yeah.
Yeah, there was no satellites or anything. So we strung out along the Ansonstown Road, past the Sinn Féin offices, and my normal brick had been broken up because of the colonel's colonel wanting these guys to go out on the foot patrol. There's me and one other guy from the normal brick.
So what is a brick? Well,
A brick is normally 4 blocks. You had, on a patrol, you'd have 6 or 7 bricks out at a time,
yeah.
working around each other in support of each other. So we were the guy from the Colonel Road group was him, guy from my brick, and we had 2 NCOs. One was being shown around the area. The other one, well, I don't know how we ended up with him anyway. The guy from the Rover group decided to, because we got told we had to, when the patrol wasn't actually moving, we got told we had to do vehicle checks. In which you stop the vehicle, you ask for the driver's details, and you take note of anybody who's in the vehicle.
Yeah.
He decided to stop a school bus. So I got sent to try and get him out of that situation. And whilst that was going on, tail end Charlie brick moved through us, so we ended up being tail end Charlie on of the whole multiple patrol. And we carried on moving down Ansonstown Road back towards IEC Ansonstown, and we'd stopped again, and we were just getting ready to move. We were by the post office on Ansonstown Road, and we came under fire. The guy, Mark from my brick, he went. Mark went down, and I could see the rounds hitting the ground around him. He was out in the open.
What, the bullets you're talking about, yeah? Yeah.
The guy from the Rover group, he was by the post office. One of the NCOs grabbed some civilian down onto the floor and got down behind them. And the other one was hiding in a shop doorway, the guy with the radio. I couldn't open fire because there's too many civilians in the way.
So you knew where the rounds were coming from,
Yeah.
the bullets were coming
You see
from,
where
yeah?
they were coming from. They're coming from Riverdale Park North.
Right.
So I broke cover to draw the fire away. So Mark could be dragged into cover, and whilst I was going across the road, I gave the order for contact follow me. So the other guys would follow me. And I also give a target indication of where the shots are coming from. And I went through a yellow gateway that I knew was there because this was my normal patrol area. I knew that gateway was there. It was a little yellow gateway in this thick blackthorn hedge. Whether the gunman knew that gateway was there, I don't know. But I got down an embankment and up the other side to the houses. With all the kit that I had on, body armour, weapon and everything.
Yeah.
Linford Christie wouldn't have been able to keep up with me at that time.
So how far do you think that you ran then?
150 metres to the
Yeah.
edge of the houses. 150,
Yeah.
200 metres at most. Came alongside the houses. The gunman was still coming out of the house. I let some rounds, fired off some rounds. They legged it. We gave chase. Fired some more rounds. And ended up going round on a dog leg into another street. The guy in the ahead of me had a weapon in his hand. Shot him. Round hit him. He grabbed the gatepost, swung inside, disappeared behind the other houses.
So there was a couple of terrorists.
About 4 or 5 in total.
Right. Okay. And you said you would manage to shoot one.
Yeah. Which, as it turned out, wasn't believed.
Right. Okay.
And there was another guy, I thought he was armed. He refused to stop. I fired at him. But the round went through the back window of a car, hit the interior mirror, and dropped onto the dashboard. He was later captured and went to jail for a few years for attempted murder on us. I had no radio. So there's me and 2 other riflemen, and that was it. We had a crime scene to secure. We had gunmen on the loose in the Republican area. No fucking knew where we were as far as I knew.
You say a Republican area, is that like the enemy's sort of area?
The area staunchly Catholic, staunchly pro-IRA and all that sort of thing.
So you've just been in a bit of a gun battle here, and you're trying to make 1,000 decisions.
Yeah. Well, an old woman came out of a house shouting something else. That I wanted to call the police, an ambulance or whatever. I says, call me your fucking light. I says, you should get off the street. I didn't want people starting to crowd out into the street. But she came back out because I was about to go around the corner in this house. And she said she had the eyes, she had a policeman on the phone. So we withdrew back to that house and I goes in and goes on the phone. And as if I was on the radio, I sent the contact report down the phone to this idiot on the end of the phone. He thought it was a wind up. So I needed support. I needed troops up there. I needed support. I needed people off Anderson Stone Road to come and support us. We needed siege of crime. We needed, we need you name it. We needed it. I didn't even know there were any security force casualties at the time. I didn't know what was going on. All I knew is I was up there. I'd led the follow up, and only two people had followed me, and it was.
So, if you don't mind me just running this along a bit, Bob, with respect, on the night time or when you got some time off, like, did you have time off straight away, or did you have to do something else, or and how was your thoughts? None at all. I mean, you must, like, when you went to your bed, and I mean, how was you thinking?
First shots down were at 13:30. When the colonel and everyone eventually turned up, and I was made to I had to empty my magazines and count my rounds out, because they didn't believe I'd fired as many shots as what I had fired. They didn't believe that I'd hit somebody with a 7.62 round and they hadn't gone down and stayed down. As it turned out, I had duff rounds. One of the rounds at 50 metres went, there just wasn't the power there.
Yeah, the charge in the round can be a bit funny, especially after a few years. Yeah. Like, and if I remember rightly, that ammo that was issued out there wasn't like tip top last week's made ammo. It was ammo probably. Yeah. So obviously the charge gets affected, but that's another story. I do apologise.
Right, so me and the other two lads then got packed off to Woodburn IEC station, where we were interviewed under caution by the CID. My gloves were taken, my weapon was taken, and my magazine was taken. We eventually got back to Fort Whitelock at just after 2200 hours. We'd had nothing to eat or anything.
Can I just ask you a question, Bob? How was your mate to feel at that time? Like you had done the best to your ability, and it was,
No, I was made to feel like a total wanker. I was totally incapable.
I don't know what to say to that.
If I'd done my job properly, it'd be a nice line of terrorists lying on the floor. Bollocks, doesn't work like that.
Of course, real life is real life, and
So we got back to Fort Whitelock, and our little Diddy Sergeant Major calls us in after we'd got a cook to knock us some food up, after threatening one, because he wasn't going to cook us anything. So he called us in, and he gave me, Mark, a slab of beer. I was, there you go. Go and get drunk. He said, we're only meant to have 2 cans a day. I had a slab of beer. So we sat down.
It's medication in the army. It's medication, isn't it?
That's right. Well, we were busy getting pissed, and then
I didn't know that, Bob. I didn't know about the sergeant major, the company sergeant major doing that for you. And I must say, from what I knew of him, he did come across as a rifleman sergeant major when the chips were down. So I've got nothing but respect for him for throwing you a crate of beer. I mean,
well, didn't exactly work out well though, because just before midnight, the platoon sergeant came round and says, "Get your kit on, you're going back out."
That's yeah, I know. Yeah,
Sent us back out on alert, what they called alert patrol. To see if I could find these so-called these bodies of these people I'm supposed to have shot. I thought,
come in. I'm trying to be someone that's looking through the window at this, and maybe sending you back out on patrol was people's way of getting you back into the swing of things, because I suppose to face being shot at and running 150 meters and having a gun battle, you either get back on that horse or you don't. And maybe, just maybe, people were trying to put you back out on that horse, Bob. And that's not trying to defend anyone. We all do things different, but and I apologise for just jumping in.
I mean, photographs of the ambush were taken from the Sinn Féin officers. The whole thing was a setup, basically.
Yeah, of course. So
we got sent back out, and then we come back in at dawn, and then a couple of days later, they then wanted us to go down and walk through it in civvies with the IEC, unarmed.
it makes you think whether it's worth doing what you did, Bob. But no,
well, they didn't like my reply to that, because I refused point blank to do it.
Coming forward now,
Yep.
your battalion leaves Belfast, and where's it go? Is it to Germany again?
Back to Germany, yeah.
Yeah. So was you put in for an award for what happened there and then when you got back to Germany, or?
I'm not sure when I was put in for it, but it was about a year later that the award came through. But I got told I was getting put forward for something, and I basically said I didn't want anything. Just leave me alone to get on. I just wanted to fade into the background and get on with things.
Yeah.
But as it turned out, I kind of went downhill quite a bit after when we first got back from leave after Ireland, and I got sent home on compassionate leave. And whilst I was away, the guys were down. The company was down on the ranges, and the brigade commander from 39 Brigade commander from Northern Ireland came over, and it turned out that one of the guys that I claimed a hit on turned up in the south, dead. And basically, he was there to apologise to me.
Yeah. For the viewers, obviously I do know Robert or Bob personally, and I can vouch that a lot of people didn't believe that he had actually shot someone, and it actually came out probably about 10 months later, Bob, wasn't it? That it was actually proven that you did shoot the terrorist, and to hear that from a brigadier must have been quite amazing, actually.
I wouldn't know. I didn't get it. I wasn't there. I missed him. I was away on compassionate leave.
Wow. So when you come back from leave, then was you? Did you have to see
long
the
after
CO?
that the awards came out, and then it was actually published in the London Gazette. It was published in January 86.
Yeah.
So Christmas 85, on the morning, Christmas morning, when they come round, when the senior ranks come out and shove a cigar in your mouth and give you a mug full of rum, there was a pile of letters from me from brigadiers, generals, and all that. To little buckshy old me.
Wow.
Trying to, but that's when I knew that things weren't going to go well for me after that, which they didn't. Which was the worst thing that ever happened to me.
Yeah. You stayed in for a few years after, didn't you? You stayed in for about another 5 or 6 years, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, moving forward, if you don't mind me moving forward, Bob,
No.
You've got so much to tell me, and this is worth another shout, another podcast in the future. So you heard it here first. We haven't finished with Bob, but just moving forward to. So, what year did you leave, Bob? The military,
89.
right? And well, it's a question, but it's going to be a broad question for the time, the length of time. How has life been since you left the military?
A battle. Because of what happened and the way that it was dealt with back then, I ended up being an alcoholic, and
Really?
it was a battle. It was a battle to get off the drink, which my wife's helped me to do.
So,
Some people
do
wouldn't
you
believe.
mind me asking how long you was drinking for?
Well, I've been dry 20 years now, so
20 years. Wow. Big respect, Bob. Big respect.
but I couldn't have done that without me, my wife and family. We've got no help from anywhere else at that time.
Yeah. So, was you drinking because you just loved it, or was you
No,
drinking
I was drinking to forget. I was trying to got to the stage where I'm having flashbacks every day and
Yeah, I bet. Yeah.
and nightmares, and
Was it
was just
more medication, Bob, you was drinking?
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
yeah.
that's exactly what it was. Well,
Wow. And you stopped drinking 20 years ago. I've got to take me off to you, mate.
people who
Well
knew me
done.
back then, they probably wouldn't believe that I could ever give up drinking, but
Yeah. So, have you ever been diagnosed with anything?
yeah, I got diagnosed with chronic PTSD.
Yeah.
I eventually started getting some treatment from a thing called combat stress until COVID struck, and then they gave me the heave ho.
Yeah. That's the thing. I mean, they are very good. I mean, well, the dealings I've had with them and the other people, they are very good, but there comes a time where they have to ask you to try
Oh yeah,
outside
I
in
mean,
the big world because of well, it all comes down to money, doesn't it? At the end of the day, I
well,
mean, it shouldn't do.
they're concentrating on the young lads where they can have better results.
Yeah, of course, yeah, which is a fair thing to do. It's just,
Yeah.
it's just a shame that
Dinosaurs like
people.
me, yeah. I mean, dinosaurs like me, there was no hope. So
Well, you're
that's their
speaking
words,
for
not mine.
yourself there, Bob. You're speaking
No,
for
no,
yourself there.
that was their words. Dinosaurs like me.
Wow.
But
So you've had treatment for PTSD,
yeah,
and do you manage day by day, or week by week, or month by month?
Well, now I've got help from another organisation, Veterans First Point. I've got a psychologist and I've got a peer support worker.
That's good stuff. Yeah,
Uh,
it's just
that-
a shame, that the government doesn't do enough more, really. But that's another story for another day.
They've helped me up. They've helped me, a hell of a lot.
So for anyone watching, what can be your worst day, Bob, if you don't mind me asking? I mean, if it's a bit too much, then just let me know.
What could be my worst day? Sitting in the house and being back in Belfast,
Yeah.
feeling it, smelling it, and just not being able to move because of it.
Yes, mate. Yeah, respect. Is there any coping mechanisms that you use which maybe other people looking at this could maybe
coping mechanisms work fantastic if you've got an idea what your triggers are.
Yeah, of course.
If you don't, and if it just creeps up on you, you don't stand a chance. Doesn't matter how good your coping mechanisms are. But yeah, if you get into a routine of doing something that you enjoy doing, like I took up art therapy, and I love it. It's a way of expressing how I feel. Nobody judges it, and I thoroughly enjoy doing it, and learning different, things like grounding. Get yourself back to the here and now. Things like that can be a big help.
Yeah.
And the biggest thing of all is, for fuck's sake, ask for help.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, everyone says about it, but
nobody will judge you. And if they do judge you, you'll get a good kicking. Because, no, seriously, I mean, people. There are people out there who think, that they're better than you are because, they don't show any signs or symptoms or anything. Well, they're just lying bastards. I mean, to stand up in front of a load of ex-squaddies and say, I've got a problem, it's in my head and it's because of this. And you look at them and they're fine. And then you think, well, how the hell did they go through the same thing and not be affected like the way I've been affected? But it's not as simple as that.
It's not.
It goes all the way back to childhood or whatever. It can be, go back to anything. And it's how you learn to process things. That's
in the future, Bob, I'm going to ask you to come back on because I've done a deep dive into researching complex PTSD and also the childhood side of life. And it's a subject I know quite a lot about from my own childhood, but also seeing and hearing other people's stories. And if you don't mind, I'm going to invite you back onto this podcast in a couple of months' time, and we'll have a good chat about however much we think we had a fair upbringing, just your boarding school and the bullying, that sets in motion wheels that are just, they just snowball. But that's for another day, another time. Bob, I can't thank you enough. I'm going to have to wrap up now.
No, that's fine.
You have my ultimate respect. You was one of the best soldiers I ever knew. And if you don't mind me saying, there's a lot of people I've spoke to about yourself, not just within our regiment, but other people. And they all have utmost respect for you. And they're all quite proud to know you as a man and as a soldier. And but that's not telling you to get a big fat head, all right? Bob, thank you. It's been a pleasure. You take care, Bob, all right?
Yeah, and you, pal.
Ta-da.
Ta-da. Bye for now.